I want to bring in CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid, as well as national political correspondent for Politico, Gabe Debenedetti. Hey, guys. Paula, let's start with you. All previous indications seem to suggest, as his spokesperson said, that Manafort has been cooperating with this investigation. Why did there need to be a raid on his home?
Well, we know that he's been cooperating with the congressional investigation, and when it comes to why the FBI might choose to serve a search warrant on his home, people are referring to that as a raid, but they don't show up. They might be unannounced, but they do show up with a search warrant and permission from a judge. The reason they may do that is, first of all, perhaps he's claimed his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination for providing certain documents. Perhaps the FBI believes they're not actually getting all of the documents that they want, or perhaps the FBI just wants to send a message to other people involved in this investigation.
Well, how about this? The FBI can't just walk into your home. They need a warrant. And to get a warrant, they need to show probable cause, I presume, that they believe a crime was committed.
Exactly, or that there could potentially be evidence of a crime in this specific house, and a warrant is limited. There's actually a list of items that they are authorized to seize, and that list will actually be shared with Paul Manafort and his attorney. So that is floating out there somewhere, and that's certainly going to be a target for all of us journalists, because that is something that would really give us a lot of information about the specific kinds of crimes that they are targeting when it comes to Mr. Manafort.
All right, I want to bring Gabe into this conversation. Give us some political context here. Manafort was, of course, at one point the chairman of the Trump campaign, but the administration has made a real effort to distance itself from him in recent months. How significant is this?
Well, let's be clear about this. He may not have had an administration job, but Paul Manafort was very, very integrated into Trump world during the campaign. And since then, this is a man who's had a residence in Trump Tower itself. So he was very close to the president at times. Again, he's not had a role since, in the White House itself. But any attempts to try and distance himself from the administration kind of misses the fact that obviously this is an investigation into what was happening during the campaign. And for a very long period of time, Manafort was atop the campaign, so this is something that the White House is definitely watching extremely closely.
So, Gabe, when you heard about this raid, what did you think it indicated about the state of the wider Trump-Russia investigation? What were some of the questions that came to mind for you?
Well, obviously there are a lot of investigations here, and they're all at different stages, but for this specific one, as we've just alluded to recently, obviously these investigators have specific things in mind that they're looking for in the Manafort residence, and that suggests that they do have some sense of either crimes in mind or things that went wrong that they want to look further into that have to do with Manafort, and that means that they do have a good sense of different strains to investigate. So this has been proceeding, but I think one thing that's also clear is since they're still looking for these documents, we're still a ways away from getting any sort of resolution here. The other questions that I have are, where are the other investigations on Capitol Hill with respect to these questions about Manafort?
And we should say that the Washington Post does say that the significance of the records that were seized in this raid from Manafort's apartment, that's unclear right now. So we don't know whether they have something significant. Paula, what are you going to be watching for next as it regards Manafort and Special Counsel Mueller's investigation in general moving forward?
Well, Gabe made a great point. We're very far from the conclusion of this investigation. This is something that will definitely take months, and it could take years. And one of the most important things that we are looking for is if anyone flips, particularly Mike Flynn, Paul Manafort. There are a lot of types of infractions and potential crimes that the DOJ could go after them for. And if they can get enough evidence to support a crime, that gives either one of those men incentive to flip potentially on members of the Trump family if they have evidence or anything to offer that could support charges against them. Sort of, the FBI starts sometimes with the little fish, and that can help them go after the bigger fish.
Yeah. All right, Paula Reid in Washington, Gabe Debenedetti of Politico. Thank you both.